Welcome to That's Sewing Blab. And I see we have some regular people in the audience. So thank you to all those that generally join us on Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Hey, Dog, Myra, one so sweet. Thank you all for joining in. As you can see already, we have a great guest with us tonight, and I'm very excited about it. And our guest tonight is Gentleman Jim, aka in his real life known as Jim McFarland.
There you go.
But we affectionately know him throughout the blog world as Gentleman Jim, and so we'll be talking with him a little bit later. So welcome, Mr. Jim.
Welcome to you guys, and thank you
All
very,
right.
very much.
Well, we are very, very, very excited. So I have always already told them be there or be square. So, but they are all here. So, but we want to thank you all again for taking the time out to spend with us this evening. As you know, we sit here and we talk all about anything sewing, blabbing about sewing, crafting, DIY, fashion design, and everything in between. All right, so I have with me my co-host Don together with Duelling Designs, and of course I'm Alethea with so much talent. So we want to talk for a few minutes about what's been going on in our world. Okay, so Don, I'm gonna start with you. I know every month you do a challenge, and so we're in a new month right now. We're in the month of April. All right, so what's
Yeah.
on your table now? What's the new challenge?
I'm just doing a challenge for a conference I'm going to at the end of the month. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's like bright orange, so I'm trying to be less of an introvert and put myself out there. So why not wear bright orange? Really,
Right. Right.
that'll do it. Networking outfit. But
That's right.
yeah, no, been busy with a lot of other things. But yeah, I'm hoping I'll get it done and it'll look lovely. So I'm very excited. Yeah, besides that, working on the blab, and that's just been me since last week. How about you, Alethea?
Okay. Um, been quite the busy bee myself. Of course, this is prom season. I'm a custom clothing and alteration specialist, so and I specialize in bridal and formal wear. So in my real life, that's what I do. And so right now we're in the middle of prom season, bridal, and all that good stuff. So I've got my hands full. And on
Yeah.
top of that, working with these great paracrafters right here, we have an awesome April challenge that we just started, Sew Along. And so this Sew Along is geared towards beginners, teaching them how to sew. And the paracrafters, chose a specific pattern for us to work with. And we'll talk more about that, just a little bit. But that's basically what's been going on in my world. And preparing to talk with Mr. Jim.
Well, I got things to tell you guys.
Oh.
Uh-oh,
Um,
I bet.
Last week, I completely forgot to tell people that if they want to ask Jim a question, that if they put backslash and then a Q, leave a space, and then write their question in the comments bar in the bottom right-hand corner, it says send a message, that'll highlight it. So then when it's time for us to ask Jim questions, we can pull it up in front of him and he can check it out. It makes it easier for everyone to follow along with where we are. But I forgot last week, so some people got confused. I apologize. So /Q space and then your question. Phew.
Awesome. Awesome. And it works, I promise you. She slashes questions right over in that box. I think it looks like I don't know if can you see me okay? Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Well, now I can't see you all. I can't see you, Don. Neither can I see Mr. Jim?
I can see you. Does the audience have a problem seeing us?
Yeah, can the audience see everybody?
I can see you.
Yeah. This happens the odd time, Jim.
I'll just keep talking to you. All right, so what I wanted to add right now, just before we end our segment, our top segment, of course, like I said, we'll be doing the, just talk out, just share what's going on in the first, at the top of the segment. I also want to talk about, just share a few announcements of things that's been going on. And so talking about the paracrafters and the Sew Along kind of leads us into that. That's the big thing right now. Each month, the paracrafters, hint, Mr. Jim, we don't see you over there yet, but I'm sure you'll be over there with us shortly. Miss Victoria is. We love Miss Victoria. And so in Paracrafters, each month we do a challenge. And we just wrapped up our March challenge, which was our pajama party. And during that pajama party, of course, well, with each challenge, we have sponsors. You know, at the end of those challenges, that we do a random drawing, and we choose two winners for that challenge. Okay, and so the winners for this particular challenge, oh my gosh, I meant to write that down. They were sponsored by Ayana Glaze Jewelry. And y'all help me out, audience. Y'all help me out. I know Shar Stewart at Bless One. She was the winner of Ayana Glaze Jewelry. And it leaves me who won the Sassafras Home Pillow. So y'all help me out with that one. Who's the winner for Sassafras Home Pillow? But anyway, those were the winner. That was the sponsor, Sassafras Home. She does home decor. She has an Etsy shop, and then Ayana Glaze Jewelry. She creates beautiful designer jewelry. And so this month, the month of April, we already have one sponsor for the sew-along, which is a T-shirt. Well, it's not a T-shirt. It's more of a shirt sew-along. And so that one sponsor is, what is her name? Valerie Lowry. Okay, Valerie Lowry is a Paragrapher, and she is sponsoring the Satin Hands set with Mary Kay. All right, so we're looking for one more sponsor for the sew-along. Okay, and this is going to be actually an actual sew-along, not just everybody sew a top and we present it at the end, but this will be an actual sew-along where I will start on Friday, and I will be showing you how to follow a pattern, how to read it, all the way from through the middle of making it to the end of completing it, and all in between. So we're excited about that. Everybody's pretty much got the patterns. For those of you that won the 2 patterns, they've already been mailed out, so you should be getting those in the mail pretty soon. And I think that's about it as far as our winners, as far as the announcements that I have. You'll sponsor custom pattern. Okay, so if you see right there, Andrea, and welcome back, Andrea. She's been MIA for a while for good reason, but she just said that she will sponsor a custom pattern. So we have our 2 sponsors for the month of April. We have Valerie Lowry with Mary Kay sponsoring a Satin Hands set, and Andrea with So Fit sponsoring a custom pattern. So thank you very much for that. All right, so Dawn, I'll turn it over to you. If you have anything that you want to add to the announcement.
No. We're just going to test out a new feature. If you have noticed, on my screen at least, right at the bottom, this is a promo for the fabulously wonderful show that Gentleman Jim does. Just a short clip. They both look fabulous.
Thank you.
So
we have a lot of fun.
So is it playing?
Can you see it, Alethea?
Oh, I had to push play on my end. I don't really.
Oh.
Okay. See it.
Yes, it's playing. Thanks, Andrea. I appreciate the feedback. So, Alethea, I've lost you.
Okay, let me
still hear you
back in. You can hear me? Yeah, I can't see you all either still. So I'm going to refresh and come back in.
And Jim and I are looking fabulous, so it's worth a refresh. You do have a lovely sense of style, Jim.
Well, thank you very much. I tell people the name Gentleman Jim ain't no cute name. I earned it. So I have to be it.
Yep, you definitely look the part. I noticed it on all your videos too. You're very smartly dressed.
Well, thank you very much.
It must just be part of you more than, you know, something you do to, like an image or something. That you're the real deal.
Well, this is where I've always been all my life. All my life. All my life. So, and I enjoy being it.
Yep. I have to tell you, I've really enjoyed your YouTube videos. I didn't used to watch a lot of YouTube videos. about, I don't know, here comes Alethea. About 2 years ago, I spent most of the time in school, so we kind of lived there. But yeah, they're amazing. They're very well thought out. Not rushing, speeding through things. You just tell it like it is in a very clear and concise manner that I really appreciate.
Thank you.
And Alethea is back.
You're back.
Yeah,
I think she'll introduce you properly.
Okay, so again, Mr. Jim, we are very, very excited. There's not much that I'm going to let you pretty much just introduce yourself, but I know you, and I think I found you, met you through Victoria Baylor's blog, 10,000 Sewing Hours. And I first saw you on the scene when you were doing you actually did a giveaway for one of your classes, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a tailoring class, I don't know specifically, but at that time you were doing a giveaway. And I heard about Mr. Jim. And so you don't see many male figures in the sewing community. So that's what kind of struck my attention. And in fact, that you're a master tailor. So tell us who Mr. Jim is, and just tell us about who you are and how you got into what you're doing.
Well, I'm going to start with my new tag phrase. I mean, I've been using it. I'm a brother from Harlem with a high school education. Now, I say
All
that
right.
because, number one, I'm real proud of where my roots are. Secondly, I learned this industry in high school in New York City. Went to the High School of Fashion Industry. It's the only school of its kind in the world. Now, I say that is the school is still in existence. They got a waiting list. It's because it's a public high school, and they have a waiting list trying to get in it. Now,
Wow.
with that said, I was blessed because when I went there, they taught a full curriculum of the garment industry. The full. Now they've scaled back and they basically have what most of the so-called fashion schools have. But I will say this. I put those high school students up against anybody in the world. That school there was designed to prepare young people straight to the garment industry. And most of them go straight in. They become entrepreneurs because you're that good. And when I say that good, I'm here to tell you. And all you have to do is go to YouTube and pull up the High School of Fashion Industry. You can see what these young people do. Blow your mind. And I was blessed.
Wow.
I went there. I graduated in 1962. Long
Say
time.
it ain't so. Say
Long
it ain't
time.
so.
No, I'm 71 years old, loving every moment of it there.
Wow.
But I tell people that because we all heard of FIT, Fashion Institute Technology.
Right.
Well, when I graduated, I went there for 2 weeks. There was nothing they could teach me. So what I always tell people is I got to jump on earning instead of going to a 4-year college. So I started making money from day one. Now, that's where it all started. I had never sewn in my life. Never. My mother didn't sew. My grandmother didn't sew. We didn't have a sewing machine, whereas I hear a lot of people say, well, my grandmother or my auntie or somebody. I had none. I went to that school because growing up in New York, you see all the gentlemen with fine clothes. And I just wanted to make some clothes for myself. I had no idea that I would get into the industry. I just wanted to make clothes. And I wanted to make them at a quality that the better stores were selling. That's how I got into it.
Right. That's awesome. So with that being said, because I think a lot of us start out like that. Well, some of us start because it was a bent in our family. You know, our mother sewed, sister sewed, and we sewed. And then there are many who sew because of necessity or because of a desire like yours. You know, I want to make my own clothes. Either I want to be different or I want quality clothes. So with that being said, what was your first garment that you made for yourself, and what was your proudest? What is the garment that you're most proudest of?
Well, the first garment that I actually made was a pair of tailored pants because everybody wore tailored pants. Young people, we call them TMs, tailor made. But
Okay.
first thing I made was a pair of pants. The proudest, the garment, I can't even tell you because every time I make something, I'm proud of it to this day. I've been in this industry for 55 years now. And every
Wow.
time I finish a garment, I thank the Father for giving me the talent. When my students
Amen.
come, the first thing I do is I make my students touch my hands. The first thing I do. Because I want you to touch my hands, feel my hands. I tell them they're not my hands. These are the hands of the Holy Spirit. I'm just an instrument. Okay. I got
That's
I got
awesome.
good. I got good because I wanted to make some tailored pants. I became a teacher in high school because the teacher always told us, I want you guys to be better than me. And lo and behold, I didn't expect that. I was as good as a teacher. So he made me
Mm,
like a student instructor in high school. And with
mm-hmm.
that, that's when I honed my teaching ability. There are a lot of good tailors in the world, but they can't teach it. That
That's
I
right.
learned how to
Right.
do. I started in high school. And then I looked one day and I said to myself, now I can go to college and I can get a degree, but this industry doesn't require a degree. It doesn't
Mm,
require a license. It does not require a degree. You don't even need a certificate. All you need to be is good. That school
awesome.
made me good. I make my students very good. And they're all got a lot of them out there that are doing quite well for themselves. Because I start, like you said the other day, with the three principles of sewing. Sewing straight is the foundation of all sewing. I don't care what it is. Because when you
Right.
can sew straight, then you can in turn make any garment. Because all you do from that point is follow a guideline, which is seam allowance. That's how I got
That's right.
started. Hmm.
That's awesome, Mr. Jim. So, there are people that, I mean, your story is fascinating. And, just here, I probably could sit here and listen all day long. But, there are many people who want to do stuff. They have desires and they want to, just like you wanted to make your own clothes. You wanted to make your pair of pants. But what was it that drove you? You know what I'm saying? What was that pushed you to go the extra step and make it happen? Because we can sit back all day long and have a dream. We've been in that dream state all day long, but you pushed yourself to the point where you actually did it, and now you're teaching others, and not only teaching others, but I like your principle that you don't just teach any kind of way. You don't teach just sewing, but you teach it the right way. You teach it. I like you always say you from old school. You teach it the old school way. So what pushed you to do what you do and do it how you do it?
You want me to tell you what it was?
Yeah, I'm listening.
One simple thing. We would have graduates come into the school and talk to the students. And they told us how much money they were making. It was money. And the only reason why I say that is not that I was money hungry. The first
Mhm.
job I had when I got out of school, I wasn't a tailor. They sent us to a factory. Minimum wage was $1 an hour. I made $1 an hour,
Mhm.
$40 a week. But then I realized in those days, a tailor made $105 in those
Mhm.
days. And I said to myself, now, do you want to make this dollar over here? You want to make that 105 over there? But the only way I can make that 105 is to get real good. Okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because tailors made very good salaries when I started out. I didn't start there immediately, but I got to that point real quick. And then I said, this is pretty good because it allowed me to live a lifestyle that I'm going to tell you something. Most people dream of it because Like I say, when you can sew, and you can sew well, I tell all my students, I give them a breakdown on everything in sewing. I said, now, understand what I'm about to tell you. When you get very, very good, people come looking for you. You
That's
really
right.
don't have to
That's
solicit.
right.
They come looking for you.
That's exactly right.
I get all
Yeah.
my business from word of mouth. And that's what pushed me, because it was a easy fix, and it got so easy that it wasn't hard work. It became a labor of love.
Right.
And then they paid me too.
Wow.
Ooh, I love that.
Well, you know what? Let's talk. I like the principle because you're so right. You're good at what you do. People come looking for you. You don't have to go looking for business. And then I want to touch on one of your principles that I love hearing you say. But talk about, because I know within your industry, well, within your span of your business and what you do, you have encountered some celebrities. You know, some popular people, so to speak. So you don't have to name all the people that you talk to, but I know you have. But talk about that experience and how your gift put you before great men, so to speak.
Okay. Once I had been in the industry for just 2 years when I switched jobs for a better job. But at that particular time, I didn't realize that at certain times of the year, the clothing industry kind of shuts down. So you get laid off. And what happened was I got laid off and I needed a job. But I wasn't working for independent tailors at that particular time. So I got a job. Now, I grew up in Harlem, and I know all about the Apollo Theater. I've been in it when I was a kid. And I got a job working on 125th Street. Needless to say, 4 doors down from the Apollo Theater. Well, it just so happens that my mentor, Ori Walls, was the most sought after tailor, listen to me, in the world. Why? Because he dealt with all the celebrities, because they came to the Apollo Theater. So I got a chance to meet them firsthand, do business with them. And not just the celebrities, because the first person that I ran into when I started working from the very first day was Jackie Robinson. Why? Because he was in the building that we were in. And then all of a sudden, a representative from James Brown came in telling us that James Brown was coming and he wanted to order some stuff. And I'm like, yes, sorry. I said, you talking about the James Brown? He said, oh yeah, everybody comes through there. So it was through that affiliation with my mentor that I met all these celebrities, and I broke bread with some of them, and I had a lot of conversations. That's why I write about those experiences now. In the first book that I published, Cross on 25th Street, When the Magic Was Real. People say, well, why do you say when the magic was real? Well, if you've not grown up in Harlem during that time, Harlem was mystical. So I got a chance to meet all these people. And then I started meeting people outside of entertainers. I mean, I made clothes for Muhammad Ali when he was Cassius Clay. Okay? So the list goes on and on and on of the celebrities that came through the Apollo. Now, I always have to clarify this. We were not the only tailors that made clothes for them. We were their New York tailors, because celebrities had tailors really across America, because they needed so many changes. So that pushed me, and that gave me the insight with all the celebrities back then. So I write about it now, and I'm going to start a new YouTube in about 2 months, talking about what it was really like. I'm going to walk people through Harlem in glory days.
I cannot wait to get my hands on that book. I would love to read about the glory days in Harlem. So, and I'm sure you have some fascinating stories to tell.
Oh, I got a lot of stories.
So I'm sure. So tell us, is this book available now? Are you still in the process of writing it? And if it is available, tell us how we can find it.
Yeah, this one is available through Gumroad, which a lot of my other things are on Gumroad, or my Fine Tailoring by Jim, that site there. It's on that site as well.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
All right. So
along with,
findtailoring.com.
right, Fine Tailoring, blogspot.com.
I'll put the link in
Find
the
tailoring.
side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But
Well,
that's
this
it.
has been fascinating. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm waiting on you, darling.
Okay. All right. So
It's
what I
moving
want
on
to
you,
talk
pretty.
about now, your segment or your show with Victoria Baylor. I know there. I don't think that there's one person on here that has not seen that show yet. That you do on YouTube channel called the Tailor and the Dressmaker,
Right.
and you do a perspective from that show from the Tailor side and from the Dressmaker side, and it's quite interesting the concept that you have. I want you to talk about that, but what I really want you to hit on, you talked about it a little bit earlier about before you do anything, the main part to knowing about sewing is sewing a straight stitch. You always say that's pretty much your mantra in all of your videos when you come on.
It is.
Is
It
you
is.
talk about making you sew a straight stitch. So talk about tailoring the dressmaker, how you came up with the concept, why you came up with it, and then your mantra.
Well, basically, Victoria Baylor has been my earth angel. She
Hmm.
introduced me to more than you could ever imagine. I'm old school. I could care less about computers. I could care less about blogs, Facebook, any of that. I had a misconception about sewers. I figured I was a tailor. I was only appealing to tailors. But she told me that what we call professional tailors, what they wanted to do was get a tailoring insight on it, not necessarily to become a tailor, but to learn the
Hmm.
way we do. We do things. We do things a lot different than
Hmm.
your average dressmaker, home sewer, or whatever they want to. I call them so. I call everybody a sewing technician. I don't like the
Right. Oh, I
word.
like that.
I don't like the word home sew. I like sewing technician because that's what you become.
Hmm.
So I started
Right.
showing her the things that we do. And she said, "You got to share those." And I said, "Share them with who?" She said, "All these means of sewers." I had no idea. I'm telling you, I had no idea you guys existed. None, none, none.
Wow.
And I'll be very honest with you. So as I started to develop a relationship with her, we started putting little things out there. And one day I said, you know
Hmm.
something, we need to do a show. You show one aspect of it from the dressmaker side, and I'll talk about the tailoring side. So that's how we merged it and it became the tailor and dressmaker. Most of the things that you guys do, I do. The difference
Hmm.
is I have found a faster way because of my training and my years of experience to do things. I do them in a simple way and a simplistic way that shows just how easy it is. And every time I get somebody that comes to my studio who say they've been sewing for a while, and I
Hmm.
ask myself, well, you show me your way. I show them my way. The first thing they say is, I didn't know you could do it that easy. Well, you can. See?
Hmm.
So that was the tailoring. Tailors do things a certain way. Okay.
Right.
We consume time because it's a time management thing. And the reason why I say that it's so important to sew straight is I talk this all the time. It takes the same amount of time to sew it incorrect or crooked as it does to sew it straight. Same amount of time.
Hmm.
The difference is it takes 9 times more to redo it.
That's right.
Then if you don't get it right, you got to pick it out again and sew it
That's
again.
right.
So learn how to sew it straight. And it's just about straight stitching. Okay, what you do. Everything you sew is straight. So that's how the show came about. So we show the tailoring side and the dressmaking side. There are a lot of things that dressmakers do. It's not that I can't do them. I just don't want to. I don't want to do those. So I stick strictly to that. Now, as far as dressmaking, I made everything from children's clothes through underwear through wedding gowns. There's nothing I have
Wow.
not sewn. You know, I've started lines of clothes for other people. I
Mm.
mastered plus sizes. I could tell you everything that goes wrong in plus sizes. Now, if you
Wow.
want, I will share what I share with all my students, and sometimes when I do gatherings. And I'm going to tell you why clothes don't fit. Now, if you want to hear that, just say yes.
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 Now, you have to understand, I've been in this industry for a long time. What I'm about to share with you and your audience, I share with a lot of people. There's a reason why clothes don't fit when you buy them. Now, I'm not talking about making them, I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
buying them.
Okay.
The clothing industry was controlled by the Jewish community. And all this thing flipped over after World War II. When the Jewish community started bringing the finest tailors from Europe and finest dressmakers from Europe, they had no jobs for them because everything was factory work. In those
Mm-hmm.
days, sizes were standard. If you bought an 8 in whoever's size, it was the same as 8 in the other guy's size, and so on and so on. If you bought a 10, it was standard across the board. They had
Mm-hmm.
all of their tailors and dressmakers, finest in the world, coming from Europe with no
Mm-hmm.
jobs. They created a thing that we now know as an alteration division. We never division called alteration. This was told to me by the fathers who were good friends of mine back in the day. That's how
Mm-hmm.
they created. Now you say why? If you notice, people will say, "Well, I make a simplicity pattern if it's this way. I make them a calls. I make a Butterick, whoever, and they all fit differently." They purposely did that and created an alteration industry because when you buy clothes, now as sewers, you have to also be mindful of all of that because when people buy clothes, they don't fit. They have to go where? To a tailor, to a
Mm-hmm.
dressmaker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did the same thing with the patterns. They staggered the way they made these patterns for everybody who sews now. So they got you on that end and they got you on this end. They said, okay, because people go and they buy a pattern. That's why I teach all of my students to measure the pattern and how to measure the pattern and be more
Mm-hmm.
accurate. Because what
Mm-hmm.
most sewers do is they buy a pattern, they cut it out, they sew it up, and then they commence to now making it fit. Do that
That's
up
right.
front. Do that up front. You know, when
Wow.
you do that up front, you can be at least 95% accurate every single time. So
That's right.
that's why the show evolved this way and that way. So yeah,
Wow. That's beyond fascinating.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff, Mr. Jim. That's some good stuff right there. So listen, all
that's
right, with
that's
all
true.
this wealth of knowledge, and I believe you because they had to have jobs. We say that with just about anything. You got to make money, and if everything is perfect, you're not making any money. You
Absolutely.
have to have an avenue for people, to come in and do what they do. So yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Mhm.
So now with you doing you don't just do, I mean, you're still sewing, you're still creating, but now you're teaching. You're also instructing others how to sew. So how does one become a student of Mr. Jim? Because I mean, I know there's a line. I mean, you just had on one of your you just had on one of your YouTube shows, and the gentleman's name escaped me, but he traveled afar just to be in your
Yeah.
class. So can you kind of talk about that and let others know how they can take a class from Mr. Jim?
Well, let me say this. Okay. He came from Akron, Ohio. Okay. I've had him come from Nebraska. I've had him come from Texas, all over the Floridas, all over the southern states to study. He came for 3 weeks. Sometimes they come for a week. I have my in-house classes are strictly for locals, but they come as far away as Charleston to learn how to sew.
Mm,
Now, I'm creating more and more um, webinars and sewing courses for the internet
mhm.
because I get a lot of people saying, well, they can't come that far. So I'm going to be coming out shortly with the Gentleman Jim Sewing University. Now, all I'm really going to do is I'm
Oh,
going to take some of the things that I've done and redo them, but now you're going to see every single step, because needless to say, in a video, you can only put so much. Okay. You can only hold in attention to somebody so long. So I'm going to do them in the form where, just like this show, there'll be like a webinar where there'll be questions and answers. I did a webinar for Bird of Patterns a little more than a year ago. There's questions and answers. People would follow along as far as just a video that just shows it and it's over with. It's going to be a follow along with it. I see where somebody posted, when am I going to take the show on the road? Next year. I'll be real honest with you. This is my last year of in-house sewing. I'm going to take it on the road because people are asking me all the time about that. But I'm setting up now to show them in more detail than ever before, step by step by step, rather doing the microwave type sewing. You know, you sew it and all of a sudden you got this piece done. I saw your show and you were doing some cooking. What was that about?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be multi-talented.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But so right now, people just call me. You call me and set the time aside, and I'll make the time to teach you. I understand that it's a distance that people have to come. It's a stay that they have to come. So people have to make a choice. But I will tell you, that gentleman that came, he is now ready to go into business for himself.
Wow. Wow.
Because what I taught him was the fundamentals. I tell people I am not a design anything. I'm a recreator. I can recreate anything out there from just visually seeing it. But that comes from years of experience. But the key to it is I sew well. So if I cut something out and I scale it to the size that it needs to be, when I put it together, you can walk with it. Okay?
Wow.
So anybody,
I like that, recreator. I like that.
I'm a recreator. I'm not a designer. I'm not that good at design. I can't think of things, but I can sure make them.
Wow. Well, Mr. D, you have just freed my mind about some things, you know, because, and I like Andrea. I don't know if Andrea So the Fit is still here, but she always says that you have to be very specific about the terms that you use, you know, and a lot of times, a lot of us call ourselves designers. When we don't design, we recreate. You know, there are a lot of recreations that pass off as designers. And so, and it is, I mean, it's very important to know the difference. So I love that that you're a recreator. Now, one question that I want to ask you, and then we'll probably open up for other questions because I know they are waiting to get your Kool-Aid.
All right.
But I know that they probably want to know, like me, do you create your own patterns, or do you sew from a pattern? What does Mr. Jim do?
I sew from patterns. I don't do any draping. And the reason why is I can take any pattern and make it what I want. If it's the basic. Sometimes I'll take part of this pattern, part of that, put them all together. I got me a creation.
Mr. Jim Franken patterns. Mr.
I'm going to use a pattern. Let me tell you why I use a pattern. I learned how to make patterns 50 years ago. I don't know how to do them anymore. It's easy. What you have to learn with patterns is not the creation of the pattern, is to learn how to adjust them. And that goes back to what I'm talking about. If you can adjust, I can adjust any pattern. I could take old patterns, put them together, and make whatever you tell me you want. See? It's adjusting, and it's all right now. All right. So I use patterns. People say, well, I drape, but to me, I don't. Why? Because this is a lot of work. And I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Time is money. Time is money. See? So
say that again, Mr. Jim. Say that again.
Is money.
Oh my God. And after my own heart.
Listen,
wow.
I've slowed down. But there was a time when there wasn't, outside of a wedding gown, There's no ladies garment, not a one, I don't care what it is, that I can't make within a 3-hour span. Okay, what it is. Okay. Now, wedding gowns take a little longer. But even, I'm talking about even formal gowns that they would wear to a formal affair. I can make anything in 3 hours. Why? Because I consolidate the time. I manage my time.
Wow. Now that is a topic for another day. We'll have to have you back for part 2 because that is what I want to learn how to do. That's incredible.
But see, this is what I teach all my students: time management. And my students have gotten to the point where it used to take them sometimes a couple of days to make something. Most all of them make it within hours or a day. All of them. You know. Now,
well, that's incredible.
It's them that are doing it. I just give them the foundation.
Well, it sounds like I need to take a Gentleman Gym class.
Yes. Gentleman Gym University.
Now, where are you located?
That's right. I'm in Georgia. I'm right in Georgia, in the same state. I'm in Augusta.
Oh, Augusta, 2 hours away from me.
I know.
Listen.
So I owe Miss Victoria a visit anyway.
Okay, if my students can come from Charleston, St. Simon Island, in Georgia, you understand what I'm talking about?
I'm hearing you.
All right. And I got a lot.
We're gonna have to make that.
I got a lot of friends in Augusta.
Oh, all right then. Okay, well, there is no excuse then, is there?
No.
To make the connection. All right, so like I said, I don't know if my co-host here, you have been so gracious to let us just talk, but do you have anything you want to add or ask Mr. Jim before we move on to our question stage and our top 10?
I just wish you could download some of his knowledge through Blab, like through osmosis. It would be fabulous. I'm way up in Canada, so but I'm looking forward to Gentleman Gym University. It definitely sounds like I'd like your style of learning. I started off school at an industry school before university, and they were all about just so straight lines, much like your second YouTube video, Gentleman Gym.
Yeah.
And then later it was designing and everything, but that grounding of just grading over and over and sewing straight lines and all the basics is, if you don't have that, then it's so much harder to move forward.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that would be a great learning with Gentleman Gym. I would love that. Yeah. Now's the time in the show when we get some of our viewers and we answer some of their questions.
Sure.
So we have one already. Yeah, Gentleman Jim. The first one is from, I believe it's Isla. Is that Dr. B is Isla? Yeah. And she wants to know, what direction do you see sewing and designing in the future? Some feel that sewing is a lost art.
Let me be very honest with you. There's no real future in sewing. Well, when I say that, when you say which direction, listen to me, when I say which direction it's going, it just keeps evolving. That's all it is. The sewing part is get good at it. Okay. Whatever styles, they just come back around. Okay. Retro, they call it retro. Well, retro, what they're showing ain't totally retro. Okay. Then you have those that like that 30s and 40s look. Well, wear it. Make it and wear it. I have clients that's all I do for. As far as the future, the only thing I tell people is if you're going to sew it, my motto is if you can sew it, you can sell it. Right? Listen to me. I get a lot of, and I'm going to call them out because they don't like me anyway, scared students that come to me and I graduate them because I do their projects. I really do.
Wow.
Because they can't sew. You understand what I'm saying? They can't sew.
No.
Wow.
So if you can sew it, you can sell it. Okay.
Wow. That's word to the wise right there. If you can sew it, you can sell it.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. Our next.
What's the next question?
This one's from Faye Doll. She wants to know, when are you taking your classes on the road?
Well, that's what I said.
Oh.
I think I said that a little earlier. I'm going to put together a tour. Now, don't get me wrong. I can't cover everybody, and I can't cover every state. But I'm putting together that for next year. I'm planning for everything for next year because I'm still creating all the webinars, all the classes that I'm going to be teaching online. But after that, I'm freeing myself up to take that show on the road along with my brother from Harlem with the high school education tour. I'm putting all that together now. So just be patient. I got people that come to me, say they've been sewing for 30 years, and all of a sudden they're great sewers now. So some of them, just be patient. That's all. But it will be next year, and that's a promise from me. You know, as long as God keeps me here, and He kind of likes me. I kind of like him.
That's right.
So I'll be here. But it will be on the road as of next year. On my sites, and I'll notify you gals too, when all of this is going to come, you know, when it's all going to happen.
All right, one quick question. Let me interject in here. Brother from Harlem Educational Tour. I know you kind of mentioned it earlier. What is that? And what, kind of just give a little snippet of what you talk about in that.
Well, what it is I tell people how I got in the industry, okay? How it all happened from my humble beginning. How did all this happen, okay? Then I'm going to tell people what it was really like, the garment industry, because most people don't really know. They've never been in a factory. They don't know what a factory looks like. They don't know the whole mechanics of how everything happened. So I want to inform those, because if you go to New York today, there's no garment industry. There's none, okay? And people they can't even imagine what it looked like, okay? And I was blessed. I started in the garment industry in 1961. By 1985, it was totally gone. Totally, totally, totally. So I hate to say it, but that's what's happening.
Right, right.
So that's what it's going to be about, informing people, because they ask me all the time, what was it like?
Well, definitely looking forward to the tour, looking forward to the Sewing University on the road. I know Georgia is in that number. I know Augusta, Georgia is on that tour.
Georgia. Matter of fact, send me the contact. I'm going to make contact with you. We're going to make it happen in Augusta.
All right, now I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
And my dear friend, the sewing gourmet, she's the real cook, the sewing cook, and that's Faye Dog. Okay. She's in Rennes, Georgia. So I know it's all around in there.
Okay.
So we can make that happen.
Okay. Okay.
Very excited. Do you have any more questions?
It looks like questions/comments. So to fit mentioned that she loves your style, and then she's making more vests for the men in her life. So that's
all
lovely.
right. All right, then. You
Jim.
You just tell her. Oh. Keep doing it. You know, I have one client in Savannah, Georgia, that I have made 147 vests for in the past 2.5 years. 140.
That's a lot. There's another question from Sew to Fit. Do you still sew for others or just teach? And she wants to know if you had any suggestions for dealing with male customers as a female who offers tailoring.
Well, I still have a few. I'm very selective now on who I sew for. And as far as I'm going to continue teaching this year. Okay. But as far as suggestion dealing with men's fashion is really an easy fix. And the best way to go about men's fashion opposed to ladies' fashions, just look what the styles are. You have to learn how to take charge of your client, okay? Because they don't really know. So you have to learn how to make the suggestions to them on what they do. I always ask all of my clients, what kind of lifestyle do you have? What do you do for a living? How do you socialize? And then from there, I take charge of the situation and I tell them what they need to wear and how they need to wear it.
That's very good advice.
Excellent advice.
You might have answered this a little bit, but she could have asked before we posed the question. So you actually chose your high school. Was it hard for you to get in?
In New York? This high school is a public high school. You just have to take a little, listen to me. You take a test. You do not really know how to sew. I didn't know how to sew when I went to the school. So you just have to take a test to get in it. But it's a public high school. It's at 225 West 24th Street. I know that like the back of my head. But it's called the High School of Fashion Industry. Anybody can go online and pull it up.
And with this question, maybe she means like when you left high school, how did you get that first job?
The school had an employment agency in the school. I had 1,000 jobs to choose from when I left high school.
Wow.
1,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
So I went to the employment. We had a state-run employment office in the school.
Wow.
That's unheard of these days. I mean, nowadays, most kids, they leave the schools, they get all this education, and then it's hard to find a job unless you have tenacity and the fortitude to kind of carve your way out, you know. And everybody don't know how to do that. Everybody don't know how to press their way through to make things happen. And but I mean, nowadays to have 1,000 options and have what you had then is unheard of now.
Yeah, it really is, really is. So I see your next question there.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on reintroducing tailoring and sewing skills to modern high schools?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why. Because I've been jockeying for 30 years to make that happen. I talked to all the political people. I talked to the school boards. I talked to the people who make it happen. It's not good. Well, let me put it this way. Maybe it will. The only downside with that is who's going to instruct the people. Okay? You create a program. You got to have somebody to instruct it and run it. And you know who those people were when I was going to school? Old school tailors. I'm 71. There are very few of me left. Very few.
Right.
Sorry. I don't know. It might happen, but I don't know.
I kind of believe like
we have to
probably won't happen. They're introducing community type programs in the school right now, and a lot of them are run by home sewers that I want to say old school knowledge, the basics. They're just teaching kids how to run or operate a machine and how to sew a stitch, but not the hard knocks type stuff. That you have to go to Mr. Jim's sewing university to get.
Yeah, that's the best I could do for them, is to put everything in sewing form. That's the only thing I can think of. I just don't know of another way of being able to give myself to the universe except through the wide world web.
Yeah. Another question from Andrea. Old school seems still to be face-to-face instruction, hands-on. Would you agree?
Yes, it is. It is, and I'm creating these downloads and whatnot to be as close to that as you can honestly get. I don't know any other way of me really putting it than that. I wish I could get everybody, or I wish I could go all over the universe, but I don't know how to do that, and I'm one of the few that seems to be still teaching it. So right now, I don't know any other way. All I can do is give everybody the talent that God gave me. So, yeah.
All right. So, Don, can we take maybe one more question and then get ready for our top 10?
Okay, we have a couple others here that we haven't answered as well. Maybe while Jim answers this one, I'll just take a quick peek and see if we can amalgamate some questions or something to make it quicker.
Right. Or either we'll do the top 10 for those that might want to jump off. And then if you want to hang around, Mr. Jim don't mind hanging around, we can shoot some more questions his way.
I really can't. I hate to say it.
Okay.
I really can't. I'm supposed to be somewhere else.
Oh,
Okay.
we're honored that you came on.
Yeah, I'm honored.
Exactly.
I'm honored to be on with you guys. I'm telling you, it's my pleasure to be on with you guys there. But now,
It's been a pleasure.
I'll come
Trust
back if you want me.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Because you have a story there to tell us and talk about. So, yeah, we're very excited to have you back.
All right.
It'd be really nice to have both you and Victoria on one time as well.
Yeah.
Your videos are amazing, and I think you too, you'd both offer, like you play off of each other and you offer different perspectives. So it'd be great to interview you separately and as well as together. I think that'd be neat. What do you think, Alethea?
Okay.
Oh, I wholeheartly agree with that. So, Mr. Leave now, and I'll take this last question from Cheryl Brooks.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
All right, so
I'll answer this last one for Cheryl Brooks, if you don't mind. I'll answer that one there. When she says she's trying to decide on an industrial sewing machine, is that the one?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Industrial machines is just a sewing machine. What I recommend, unless you really want to buy a new one, get a good used one. Because a good used one will last you the rest of your life, because that's the way they're built. You know, there's no different brand between a Singer or a Juki or anybody else. They all do just one thing. They sew straight at a higher speed. They have less mechanical problems. Okay. So it doesn't really matter what one you get. If you just want to go to the distance and get a new one, fine. But there are a lot of good used ones out there because they don't break down like some of the other ones do, and especially ones with computers in them. It's a computer first.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent advice. I wholeheartedly agree with that one, Cheryl.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I hate to run.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on, gentlemen. Jim.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. All right.
And we can have you back on again. Thank you so much.
We'll be in touch. Many blessings to you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night, Mr. Jim.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right. So you all want to hang around, Mr. Jim? If you would just tap that screen, the X in the corner of your screen.
I got you. All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Top.
Now you don't want to go.
Now it says I kicked him out, but I didn't actually bump him out. I was just helping him leave.
Just help. We understand.
It makes you feel bad when it says I bumped somebody.
Yeah, wasn't that exciting? Oh my gosh, you talking about wealth of information. The clock in my head, or however you want to call it, it's just spinning. It's just going around and around. That was amazing.
You could teach us so much about what the industry used to be like, and just even sewing things. Like, he's an amazing man.
I know it. So yeah, I definitely cannot wait for the university school to roll around, the tour school, however he's gonna do that. The books, you heard him talk about his books. So y'all please visit his website. Don put the link up, and we'll definitely share these links on the Paragraphers group, so that way you can see it. You can also get the information on Don's blog, Duelling Designs, and we are still working on the That Sewing Blab site, so you can find all that information. I'm the guilty party; she's waiting on me, but we definitely can find that information out. But I wanted to go ahead. You all helped me out with this. At the end of the show, we try to do, well, I think we did a top 5 last time, top 10. this time. Last time it was our favorite sewing tools in the room. So this week it's our top 10 blogs that we like to follow. And must say that this was, I think, kind of hard for a lot of you all. You had your favorites, and then we kind of capped off at about 7. And then the rest of them, you followed. So let me say these are the top 7. Everybody else kind of fell in at 1. They kind of balanced out. So number 1, the top blog that you like to visit and go to is Mimi G. Yeah, we love to watch Mimi G and what she does, right? And she's very instrumental in helping a lot of you get on your feet and even start sewing. I hear a lot of you refer back to her as the reason why you even got into sewing. So give it up for Mimi G. At number 2, Erica Bunker. Now, if you don't know who Erica Bunker is, Erica Bunker DIY Style, I don't have no words for you. Just don't have none. Now, she's a little bit more experienced. She's a notch up. She likes to do a lot of tailoring, sewing. Now, she's one. She takes her inspiration from name brand catalogs like Neiman Marcus, things like that. That's her caliber of sewing, and she recreates the look. She's very good at it too. So Mimi G at number 2. At number 3, our very own Andrea comes in at Sew to Fit. Sew to Fit comes in at number 3. Who don't like to watch Andrea? Okay, and you go check her blog out. She has a lot of information there. So if you ain't watching Andrea, and I said ain't. If you ain't watching Andrea, check her out at Sew to Fit. All right. So at number 4, My Daily Thread. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. That's all I'm saying. My Daily Threads, Miss Cherie Williams. She is up and coming. She's up and coming to some, but she's been out there. She creates her own clothes. She's getting ready to come out with her own line called Nina Ramel. But when I say fierce with like a capital F, that's all I'm saying. So you got to check her blog out to see it yourself.
Is it threads with a Z or threads with a...
Threads with a Z.
Okay.
Yeah, threads with a Z. So My Daily Threads, y'all go check her blog out. It is awesome. She has one. When I tell you, you're gonna need a bib cloth because you will drool. She has this link called My Sewing Closet. Enough said. Go check it out. All right, coming in at number 5 is Moi. Somebody do go read my blog. And that's one. It's a work in progress, but thanks to you all, it's a community blog. So whenever you post something, whenever you post your things that you made, you do blog posts, I shoot them straight to the So Much Talent Facebook page. So you all help keep that blog going. So thank you all for that. All right, coming in at number 6 is So Style. We just had Erin on last week, and she was fabulous herself, doing her own creations, and she has her line that she's come out with as inspired by her daughter. Not so newborn daughter, but she's a baby girl. So y'all please go check Erin out at her blog, So Style Me. And she tied with since 7 tied with Diary of a Fanatic Sewist. Diary of a Sewing Fanatic. That's the proper way to say it. If you don't know who Carolyn is a full figure, and she does an amazing job on sharing her skills on how she creates her clothing as a full figure. And she is great. She's been around for a while, so if you are looking for inspiration, not just because she's full fit, but just to know how to put the looks together. You don't have to be dressed in boxy clothes all the time, big clothes, and just check her out. Okay, just check her out. Diary of a Sewing Fanatic. All right, and then at number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8, 9, 10, you've got folks like Melly Stowe's Fashion Behind the Scenes. My co-host right here, Duelling Design. Check Dawn out. Now, what I like about Dawn, we don't visit that much, but Dawn, I love your concept of how you look to us to create a design each month. And I must say, your design for this month, I think it's a go. And hands down, I think everybody was liking that little design with the, what was that, the little split? Isn't that the one that we chose?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
design
that's
one
one
on Perry Crafters is doing
design.
amazing, but yeah, but on the blog, it's funny, design two is winning. But so it's I know. I'm hoping for design one, I'm not gonna lie, because yeah, I've got hips and those hips would like an A-line.
Well, you're gonna have a tough decision, but either way, I know it's gonna be
Yeah.
fabulous. All
Yeah,
right.
thank
So
you.
also right in that with Dawn is Victoria at 10,000 sewing hours. And the concept behind 10,000 sewing hours is the fact that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at whatever it is that you devote your time to. And so she's devoted her time to sewing. So she takes a diary of her sewing. Everything that she sews, she clocks her hours and her time. And so her goal is to reach 10,000 hours, and that will certify her, according to the book that she's read, to be a expert. All right, and also we have Faye's Sewing Adventure. You've also liked Gretchen, Gertie's new blog for better sewing. And we talked about the retro sewing, and that's the stuff that Gertie does. Grain Line Studio, Una Baluna. I don't know if you heard of Una Baluna, but she's amazing. She's kind of quirky like, but she does some fabulous designs and styles. And who did I miss? Colette HQ and Tricot. So y'all, I have all these blogs listed in Paragraphers, so y'all can check them out. Okay. You like Una Baluna too, Doc? Yes. She is fun. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, so that's all we have. That's our top 10 and some. So go check them out. All right, so Don, it's back in your court.
I think a lot of these questions, I'm sorry we didn't get to answer all of your questions. I'm just trying to see if there's any here that you could answer, Alethea. But what advice do you have for pricing goods?
Pricing goods? I need to know that myself.
Okay.
To learn how to better price because I still think I underprice myself. But let me tell you, I am getting. I'm sorry about this. I'm moving this around. I forget. I'm live. I forget. I mean, not forget. I still undercharge myself, but I'm getting much better at it. So I could take some lessons on that myself, Faye. So yeah, when you find out, you pass it along to me.
Erin was quite good last week too from Style So Me. She gave a kind of loose rundown on what she thought pricing was and how we don't value our own work enough and charge enough sometimes.
That's right, making sure you charge for everything that you do, which sometimes we do tend to skip out on stuff. We focus a lot on the labor part, the sewing part of it, and the supplies, but we don't factor in the overhead costs, which even if you're in your home, you still have overhead. You have lighting, you have I mean, you have everything that you have to work with. You got water, you got to run water for your iron and stuff like that. Your taxes for your business, your advertising, and all of that. So, yeah, all of that plays a part. So, and you're right. Erin does have a video on her YouTube channel that speaks on that, on how to start your business. And I think in that she talks about the pricing.
Yeah.
Hi, Samina. Thank you for being a part. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry says it's very enjoyable. Thank you.
Oh, can't thank everyone enough for coming in. We really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun getting to meet Gentleman Jim.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay. You have any more questions?
I have no more questions. We didn't have anyone come in the seat tonight. I think it was just because we asked Gentleman Jim so many good questions and you didn't want to interrupt him because he was just, it was valuable information.
Exactly.
So hopefully next week.
But I took some good notes, y'all.
Yeah.
So interesting concepts, right? I've got some interesting concepts for you, Dawn. So we'll get together. I had like I'm telling you, everything, the wheels was just turning in my head. So
and as always, if anyone who's watching has any suggestions, Alethea and I would love to hear them. We want to make this show what you'd like to see. So yeah, we'd love to hear your suggestions. But I guess that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for everyone for your time, and it was fantastic seeing everyone. And thank you, Alethea. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.